In the space of just under 2 years, I've been able to build up a profitable photography business. I land regular clients and I make enough money to the point where I can call this my full-time career. And not only that, I get paid to do jobs that I genuinely enjoy doing. I'm able to express my personal style. I find them creatively fulfilling. I can look back at my portfolio and go, I'm actually proud of those photos that I created. But obviously this did not just happen overnight. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge to get to my position. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how I navigate my portfolio and how I approach my work to ensure the most clients and how I'm able to create a work that will land me even bigger jobs in the future. The first piece of advice that I would give you: what you do in your free time matters. So when I first started out, when I was in those early stages of my career and I was finally starting to get paid for my photography, was when I was doing some wedding photography. So how did this come across? I found this application or internship on LinkedIn, or someone told me about it, and there was this wedding photographer that was looking for a beginner photographer that wanted to kind of get into this industry, or as a photographer. It didn't have to be weddings, but as a photographer, and just gain some experience as a professional while getting paid to do so. So they were basically paying me to learn from them, which is like a internship, apprenticeship type of thing. So I did that and I was getting paid. It was great. Like, oh my God, never been paid for my photography before. This is nice. Sometimes I was just carrying around kit. Sometimes I was taking a couple of photos. I was getting a lot of experience from it. And I'm still grateful that I did that to this day, because it really forced me to take it seriously and learn about my cameras and everything. Because before that, I barely knew what a lens was. I didn't even know what a focal length was, or like a camera body. I didn't know any of the logistics, that sort of stuff. So obviously, I don't know, from that, I kind of forced myself to learn about that, which is amazing. So I was doing that for a while, but that was the only thing that I was actually making money from as a photographer. Like, I was never getting my own paid shoots. I was always getting hired to do these weddings and stuff like that, which was fine. But because it was like an internship, it wasn't like a proper, you're a wedding photographer, the pay wasn't the best. Like, I'm not trying to chat shit about the person or talk shit about the person that gave me that job. Obviously, I'm super grateful for that. And obviously in those early stages, you can't expect me to pay me standard rates as a wedding photographer, because I wasn't really doing that, right? I was kind of learning, but I couldn't rely on that as my main source of income. So I knew I had to do something, because I could just imagine, I did. There was times where I would go months without getting any paid work. And then people would tell me, my friends or my family members would tell me you haven't got any paid shoots for a while. What are you doing? And I always used to tell them, well, it's not my fault, because no one's inquiring about a photo shoot. No one's messaging me for a photo shoot. Obviously, that was the completely wrong mindset to have. But at the same time, I can't really blame myself for having this mindset, because the only photographers that I was surrounding myself with were these big professionals that have been doing this for 5, 10, sometimes even 20 years of experience. So for them, they could get away with just kind of living their life and just expecting an email inquiry about a photo shoot, because they've spent all that time in the industry building up a network of clients, making connections, obviously making a pretty good portfolio to the point it's gonna attract clients because it's a really good portfolio. So they could do that. They had that blessing of that privilege of just being able to sit back and expect inquiries. But because I was in those early stages, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a client network. I didn't have a solid portfolio. I basically didn't have a portfolio. You know what I mean? I didn't have, again, any connections in the industry. I didn't have much experience, no referrals or anything like that. So I couldn't approach it in the same way that they did. They could do that, but I had to do something completely different. If you're a photographer right now and you haven't got any paid work for a while, you probably know what I'm gonna say, right? Do free collaborative shoots, because you have to give yourself the opportunity to show off your skills as a photographer. How do you think I was able to land regular clients? They say, how do you think I'm able to get those regular clients? It's because I was doing those collaborative shoots and being able to express my style, express my skills as a photographer, and that's attracted clients to want to hire me for photo shoots. But don't just do free collaborative shoots, because I know a lot of photographers out there go, just do free collaborative shoots. No, I want you to do genius shoots. And if you don't know what genius shoots are, that's my little term for it. I've coined this term. It's shoots that you basically treat the photo shoot like it's a film. You plan everything out. Think about a pre-production phase in a film. Think about that. They have to make a shot list, they make treatments, they make script breakdowns or whatever it is. They have a set, they have lighting plans, they have mood boards, they have storyboarding, they do like the styling plan, what's the set design going to look like, the production design, everything, right? You need to do the same thing with your photography. You need to stop just doing a bunch of these free shoots, because right now you probably are doing free collaborative shoots and you think, why am I not getting any shoots or any paid work? It's because you're not treating those shoots seriously enough. You're just rocking up to the shoot, you're taking a couple of photos, you're basically just AFK. You're not really thinking about how you can improve. You're not really thinking about, oh, I want to plan this out. I want to have this specific lighting setup, this specific styling, because I think this will really fit the photo shoot, the theme of the shoot. You're just doing shoots. You can't just do shoots. Just really take the shoot seriously. You want to experiment. You want to use this time to find your style. Sometimes you may even want to budget the photo shoot. Put some money towards your photo shoot. Whether it's a studio booking, a studio hire, or a certain location hire. Maybe it's renting out some gear that you don't already own. You're doing something like that, which is going to elevate your portraits to the next level. And if you're not doing photo shoots, obviously you can't shoot all the time. Spend that time researching about how you can improve your photography. Watch courses. By the way, watch my courses, top link below. You know what I mean? Watch my YouTube videos, watch other people's YouTube videos, watch like lighting tutorials, composition tutorials. Learn how you can improve as a photographer. If you don't know anything about lenses and cameras, research about what the best lens could be for your style of photography, what the best softbox could be. I don't know, what brand should you go for with a camera brand. Whatever it is, you're doing that sort of research. You're reminding yourself that you are a photographer and you want to make this a full-time job someday. At the end of the day, whatever you do, consistency is key. I have a photography program and I have a student on there and he has family, kids, like I said, like mortgage, a day job, like he has all those responsibilities, yet he still finds time to research, to look at, okay, how can I improve my photography? How can I improve on this lighting or something like that? He's attending the weekly calls that we do in the program. He's actually spending time doing it. So I don't want to hear those excuses about, oh, I don't have time to do any of that. What about, no, you have plenty of time. If he has plenty of time, if he has a full-time job and a mortgage and everything like that, he probably has more responsibilities than you definitely have the time to put into your photography. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. I was at this networking event the other day. It was this it's mainly for filmmakers in my city, but I'll go to it sometimes because I had this music video that I DP'd like a year ago that was being shown there. So I was like, okay, I'll go to it, it'll be fun, right? And a lot of them are like, obviously they're filmmakers, same kind of thing of like entrepreneurship, they want to get into freelance, that sort of stuff. And some of them are older than me, some of them are the same age as me, but at the end of the day, I have way more experience than them in like freelance and entrepreneurship because most of them are like film students and they're still in like the educational system and all that type of stuff. So they're not used to this, right? And they would literally ask me, because you have like a name tag, right? You have a name tag and you put your name and you put like your job, your job role. So for me, I put photography, right? And a lot of people would go up to me and ask me, what's your advice on freelancing? Is it worth it? Isn't it risky and all that sort of stuff? And I tell them, yes, obviously it's riskier. And you're gonna have times like droughts where you don't get any paid work for a while, especially if you're starting out, that is gonna happen to you. You treat that like that drought and that season of your career where you're not getting any work as a blessing. See it as something where it's like, oh wow, like, now I've got all the free time in the world, I can spend this time not just stressing about, oh, I don't make any money, I can't pay my rent for that, but you're thinking about how could you improve your business? How can you improve your portfolio? Like when I have periods where I'm not getting any paid work, which is quite rare for me, but even if I am going through those periods, like a few week period or whatever, where I'm not getting any paid shoots, I'm spending that time and being like, okay, let's like sort out some really fun, creative, collaborative shoot where I can express a new, different style of shooting or just enhance my portfolio so it could eventually land me more paid work in the future and get that types of stuff in there. Don't treat these droughts as like a stressful time in your life. And a reason why a lot of people quit and a lot of people fail entrepreneurship and freelance is because they see that they have those phases, they experience those drought phases where they're not getting any paid shoots and they give up. And I'm like, no, I need to get a normal job now, I need to get a part-time job because I'm not making enough money. Obviously, there's times where you're literally making not enough money where you can't even pay rent. Obviously, then it's different. But for the most part, if you can still pay rent and everything like that, it's not just about, I'm not making any money with that, but you're using that time to learn how you can make money. You're spending that time improving your business, which will eventually turn into more money in the future. So yeah, do that. Well, that's what I said, what you do in your free time matters. We have a lot of free time as freelancers and entrepreneurs, so we need to spend that time wisely. There's a reason why we have a lot of free time. We have a lot of free time so we can take advantage of it. We don't use that free time to sit on our ass and watch Netflix all day and YouTube and just go, no, we use that time to learn how we can improve our business. Because we're not going to become a successful businessman, freelancer, photographer, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be photography, it could be anything. If you're just sitting on your ass all day, you aren't going to make any success in your business and any progress in your business. So we need to spend time actually doing something productive in that time period where we're not getting paid shoots. The second piece of advice that I'm going to give you is sit down and think about your end goal as a portrait or fashion photographer. What do you actually want to do in the future as a photographer? Think about the types of jobs that you want to get, the dream shoots. Is it the Vogue shoot? Is it the shoot for Nike or the shoot for Adidas? Maybe it's a certain type of photography in terms of it's like more leaning towards fashion, or is it leaning towards maybe portraits? Is it something like that? Think about that right now. And once you've found out that end goal, you then want to align your current work and your current portfolio of photography to that end goal. The only way you're going to be able to get hired by these big brands or whatever, get that dream shoot someday, is if you start by creating work that appeals to them right now. Because the issue with a lot of photographers is that they have these big aspirations. They're like, oh, I want to shoot for Vogue, or I want to shoot for Adidas someday, or whatever it is, but they don't currently make work that will eventually get them those jobs. You might think, oh, I'm too early in my career to be thinking about that. This is why you're poor. This is why you don't make money from your photography. And this is why you only land boring jobs and you will never land your dream jobs, because you think like that. You think that, oh, I'm too early in my career to be thinking about Adidas and Nike or whatever, and Nike or Adidas, right? Sorry, British, American, whatever it is, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You need to be thinking about that dream job right now and think about how could you create a portfolio that would help you get that job in the future. Because you don't just like do a bunch of like whatever work, like random work, then all of a sudden, boom, now you're hired by Vogue. It doesn't work like that. You need to start creating work in the first place that kind of aligns to that branding. I was speaking to one of my students on my photography program, by the way, top link below, you can check it out, personal training, great courses here, great stuff. But speaking to one of my students on there, and I asked him the exact same question. I asked him, okay, what is your end goal as a photographer? What do you want to do? What's your dream job? What's your dream shoots that you want to get? And he said, I would love to do portraits and lifestyle types of shoots for celebrities, for artists, for individuals. So I told him, why don't you just stick to that, man? Stick to that. From now on, every shoot that you do, it should align to that goal. And when you do it like that, you will eventually land those shoots in no time, because you're building up a reputation that you are that type of photographer and you do those more lifestyle or portraits and intimate types of photos. Another thing is, let's say you want to shoot for clothing brands someday, but the type of style of photography that you like at the moment that really appeals to you doesn't really suit the clothing brand like genre, like fashion types of stuff. Well, at that point, it's not about, oh, I can't do clothing stuff now. It's about how can you find a way to fuse that current style with the clothing brand genre. Don't just be like, oh, like I can't put them together because no one else done it before. That's the whole point. We're photographers. Why don't you be innovative? You could literally be the first person that has this very specific style of shooting and matches with this specific theme or specific genre. Why don't you merge it together? You can be the first photographer that does that and you can make a shit ton of money from that. Or this type of lighting doesn't really work with clothing brands or doesn't really work with shoes and product photography. Okay, why don't you try? Find a way to do that. Find a way where you can fuse them together and make it look unique. Because if you do that, you're gonna stand out and people are gonna wanna hire you someday. You get to charge a lot of money for that stuff because you're gonna be the only photographer that can do that. Again, it's back to the limiting belief thing. Stop being limiting belief and thinking, oh, I have to do what everyone else is doing. You could do your own thing. You could literally be the first photographer that does a certain thing. You could be watching this and you could be that one photographer in 5 something years time and you could be the one photographer that did that one specific style of shooting and makes a shit ton of money from it. You don't have to copy everyone else. You could be the first photographer to do something. That is very doable if you put your heart into this craft. Another thing that you can do is research your dream brands. Think about the clothing brands that you want to work for someday if you want to work for clothing brands. Think about the type of work that they're creating right now in terms of the photography and how you could align your work to their work, but putting your own twist on it. How can you align your style to their work where it would be appealing to them and want to hire you in the future? Because plenty of photographers out there that have a really distinctive and unique style of photography, and they've somehow gotten hired by Nike or Adidas or New Balance or whatever brand, and you wouldn't think that, but they were open to their style of shooting, and the shoot campaigns, ad campaigns that come out of it are amazing because they take that risk. And like, that could be you someday. You could get hired by this big brand someday from this like really personalized, like certain way of shooting, and yeah, you're making a shit tons of money. I think the main takeaway from this whole second point is just thinking big. Stop having those limiting beliefs. Think the big as possible. Think about the Vogue shoots. Think about the Nike shoots. Think about the 6-figure or 5-figure photo shoot contracts. Think about that. Don't be like, oh, I want to become the best local photographer. No, you want to become the best photographer in the world. Say it like that. You want to become the best portrait photographer in the world, or the best portrait photographer that takes pictures of celebrities, or the best portrait photographer that takes pictures of, I don't know, like for clothing brands, whatever it is. You want to become the best at that thing. And when you have that mindset, you're going to be approaching your work, your current work, to align to that goal. And obviously in those early stages, if you want to try and do a photo shoot that is super high budget and you don't have the budget for it, you can still create amazing and unique work on a lower budget. Think about how you can navigate your portfolio at the moment to align to those dream jobs, and yeah, just stick to that as much as possible. Obviously there's budget limitations there, but overall it's like, it's not actually that difficult and that expensive and unrealistic to create quite unique work that aligns to big shoots in the future. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys found this useful. Guys, like I said, been saying throughout the video, don't forget to check out my photography program, top link below, Photogenius University. That is where I help portrait photographers like yourself start by making money in this genre of photography, make a profitable photography business, and make work that you're actually genuinely proud of and not just boring commercial types of shoots. Get access to courses that you can see on the screen right now, tell you exactly what you need to do to succeed. So you don't have to waste time being like, oh, what do I do? What do I do next? Like you have someone there. I'm your personal coach. You have someone there to tell you exactly what you need to do, what style that you need to go for. Think about your goals as a photographer and tell you how you can align your work to those goals so you can make the fastest progress possible and get to your end goal as quickly as possible. So yeah guys, that is it. Thank you for watching. Click on any of these videos here to learn more about portrait photography. I'll see you next time guys. Goodbye.